going to do the spirit reads. Let's ruffle shuffle and see what we get. The topic today. What is the topic for the spirit read today? What is our topic today? It's the one we had yesterday, so we are going to forego that. Perspective. A calm and clear mind, free to see differently. Perspective. Okay. So it kind of goes with the energy of the day, looking and seeing what you have, what opportunities, what doors are closing, what doors are opening. Okay? And see what you can do. See what you can do with what you have. Rather than bemoaning what you don't have, look in the positivity to see from a new perspective, what do you have? Communication, okay? Could also be a new perspective on how you're communicating with somebody. Maybe it's time to open the door where something has been closed before, okay? Open that communication, be willing to talk, be willing to be open. Sometimes it takes being vulnerable, being honest, having that integrity, just laying the cards out on the table, okay, and have an openness to see things from another view, okay. So above it we have, there are so many things now up in the air, especially this time in year, we have a lot of topics out there floating around, okay? So maybe it's time to be willing to communicate about some subject matters that one hasn't delved into before, or something that one is finally willing to address, okay? If you're going to have perfect success, you're going to have a closeness, then you have to be willing to open up. You have to be willing to communicate honestly, not out of blame game. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about open communications about one's feelings. We have being out in the cold, feeling left out. Maybe it's time to open communications. You felt left out. You felt like you've not been not been a part of things. Okay? And maybe people are unaware of that, of just how deeply this is affecting one. And one has a lot of imaginations going on. Okay? So again, open the communication so that you don't feel like you're out in a storm, so you don't feel like you're left out, that you are missing out, okay? Be willing to open and see from another's perspective, okay? So it takes being vulnerable. It takes opening up. It takes being willing to be honest with one's feelings. And again, this doesn't mean going out and playing the blame game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being honest with what one is feeling, that I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling left out, I'm feeling, whatever it is. Okay? And be willing to have that exchange. If you want to have a good family life and long-term marriages, we have those ones, the couples that have been together like 50 years. Okay. Can you imagine? 50 years with someone, a half a century with somebody, and they'll always invariably come back to say they have open communication, forgiveness, okay, dialogue, caring, showing their care about another person. It's not me-centered, it's caring about the other person as well. Doing what is possible to make them also comfortable, okay? Not expecting that you're going to fulfill my every wish, okay? And when you don't, it's not playing a blame game, okay? It's about respecting each other, having an openness of communication, being willing to be vulnerable, to be honest with what's happening rather than playing a blame game. Open that door to communication and be willing to broach things that have been up in the air for some time, okay? So one doesn't feel left out, one doesn't feel isolated, out in the cold, isolated, okay? Left out. Now I do have the other card, the other deck that has the dog that's going into the light. The door has been opened to the church, okay? So if one is open with those communications, okay, then we can have maybe a different perspective. Be willing to have a different perspective, not being closed-minded, okay? Open and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Like they say, walk a mile in his moccasins. Try to enter into their emotional difficulty. Feel it from where they're at. Feel that emotion. Feel what is there. And then be willing to open the door to bring some balance in, okay? So that the air can be cleared and one can go forward in an honest manner, okay? So thanks for tuning in. Let's pull the other card and see what we have. Okay, I think we'll just go ahead and pull the second one. Let me put these cards. Okay. Put this back over here. Grab the other deck over here. We'll give them a ruffle shuffle and see what the second one is. Today, the Spirit Read. Number 2 of the Spirit Read. Let's see what we have. So the first one was about seeing from a new perspective, being open to the emotionality of what's going on without playing the blame game. Universe, we're all just stardust. Okay. So at the heart of it all, we are all the same. We all have all the elements of the universe within us. And we all have emotions. We all have feelings. Okay? So if we understand that other people have the same emotions as we do, they are constructed of the same elements as we are, and we can open that door to that discovery, it can help people to progress. Rebirth. Okay, Pluto. Rebirth. Okay. So if you open the door, like we had with the first reading, open the door to communication, open and honest communication, seeing from a different perspective, we can have a rebirth. We can have clean the slate and go on to something more productive. When one door closes, another opens. Maybe it's time to close the door on one chapter and open to something new. But you got to be willing to let go of that past rather than harboring this niggling little thing underneath the surface, this irritation that one carries that's going to cause some knee-jerk responses. If one's going to let go of it, they have to let go of it. Okay, yeah. You have to go into retreat. You have to let go. Because if you don't go into retreat and you have that niggling thing, you're going to sit up and get stabbed, okay? The truth is going to hit you, okay? So understand we all have the same emotions. We all have the same elements, okay? Going into it, the challenge is truth, looking at things honestly, opening the door to that mentation, material work, okay? It's going to take working together. You know, one person can't do it by themselves. It takes two to make a relationship. It can't be a one-way street. And some people get into a relationship and they want it to be a one-way street. It's my way or the highway. Okay, that's not a relationship. That's not a relationship. Okay? One has to, again, see that we're all equal. We all have the same elements. Be willing to rebirth. Be willing to let something die. Okay? You have to let go of it in order to have a rebirth. It has to be done, has to be let go of, it has to be finished. One has to surrender into that, okay? That's what happens with realization. One surrenders into that truth, that death before death, that truth, okay? And then one comes out the other side, and the material world seems to be a whole different place, although nothing has changed. What has changed is within yourself alone. So you can have a rebirth in a relationship, whether it's a physical relationship that you're involved with somebody romantically, whether it's a work relationship, whether it doesn't matter what type of relationship a coming together of two, okay? A blending of that, letting go of some old past hurts and dramas and, you know, putting it out there, being vulnerable to say what exactly is going on, okay? Opening that door so change can take place. Change is always possible, but you have to be willing to make the change. You have to be willing to retreat, to surrender, to let go for a higher truth. Being willing to work together, okay? And understand that we are all stardust, okay? We are all the elements of the universe. Microcosm, macrocosm, okay? Microcosm in the macrocosm. Again, if you understand that, and each of us has the divine is, each of us, you know, deserves to be happy. Each of us deserves to have respect. Each of us deserves to have open dialogue. We deserve not to be bullied. We deserve to have integrity, morality, serenity. All of these things, we are deserving of it. Now, if you are with somebody that doesn't want to give those things, okay, we don't have to become a doormat that they wipe their feet on, and that we just have to be accepting of it. If it is that type of thing, then cut the ties and walk away, okay? Then cut the ties and walk away, because it doesn't matter if a leopard has got those spots and they're not willing to have open dialogue, they're not willing to you know, and they're going to try to bully, they're going to try to push things. then you can say, you know what? When you're ready to be respectful, okay, then you can come back. But until that time, I'm not having, if there's not a dialogue, if there's not that reciprocity coming in, if there's no reciprocity, then you can say the door is closed. The door is closed. Okay. Now, some people say that I'm too hard on this channel sometimes, but I have people that I say, please give your questions if you want a reading. And I say, I'm not reading on that. And they insist it, well, do this reading, do that reading. Never a thank you. No reciprocity. Okay? There's no reciprocity. And I'm not here to be bullied. I'm not your doormat. Okay? So again, it goes two ways. It goes two ways. People come and say, you should be this, and you should do that, and you should, and you should maybe, if you are coming to this channel or another reader's channel, you should be respectful of the time that's being given. Okay? And it's always those that never say thank you, they never give a donation, they never give anything, they just want to bully and push. And then they say, you're not nice to me, you're not, Well, you know what? I tell those ones then they can go and get some more life experience and grow up a little bit and then come back. Okay? Because no spiritual teacher, no reader needs to be bullied. We are not here to be bullied. We're giving of our time. We're giving the best that we can give. Many of us out of our heart. Okay? We are giving from our heart the best that we can give. And if it's not appreciated, then fine. Go somewhere where they are happy to be bullied, okay? Because, especially those of us that have lived life for a while, we've been around the block a few times. We've come to that point to say, you know what? I don't have to be your doormat. That's not being spiritual. Well, if you're a real spiritual person, you'd be a doormat. You'd let me come and wipe my feet on you. You'd let me come into your home and take a dump in the floor and say how fragrant it is. No. Okay? No. Sometimes life gives us tough lessons. So, again, we give what we can give, the best we can give, with as much love as we can give. But we're not going to stand here and allow people to come up and slap us endlessly, be disrespectful, and have to put up with it. Just don't, okay? We lead by example. And if this is not the example that you want to follow or you want to honor or see a value, you have every right to be somewhere else. Absolutely. But you don't have the right to come and dictate what is going on in anyone's channel or how they're going to present themselves, how they're going to live their life, how they're going to dress, how they're going to speak. You have a right to control your actions, what you want to do with your life. Okay? But you don't have the right to be a Karen and dictate to others what they are going to do and what they're not going to do. Okay? So much love and light. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you online.